What's up, you guys? I'm Sai, and welcome to Ace Podcast Nation. On the channel, you can find podcasts, interviews, and content on a whole host of subjects, including football, mental health, films, TV, conspiracy theories, writing, wrestling, serial killers, music, and much more. You will find my guest today, who's going to take over the hosting duties in just a second at Post Wrestling. He is the newsbeat guy at the moment, but he also writes for them, and he's got his own YouTube channel where he posts his interviews from people from the wrestling world. Incredibly talented writer and someone I love to talk wrestling with, Mr. Andrew Thompson. Welcome, my friend. You okay?
Side, my dude, it's always a pleasure talking to you. Thank you again, sir, for having me back on the ACEcast so we can recap some Wrestle Kingdom, our first of one of three shows this January, folks. And then we'll be right back in a few weeks after January for TakeOver Portland and then any AEW Revolution, folks. We got a loaded couple 4 months coming up.
Yeah, it's
And,
gonna be
and
crazy.
possibly, maybe just a live WrestleMania recap. You never know what happens.
Maybe. See, the way I don't know, I was practicing, so I've been up for about 30 hours now. So I'm practicing for WrestleMania. See if I can see if my old man body can take it, staying up all night.
I see. My guy Side is doing it. So we're here to recap some Wrestle Kingdom. First, it started off with night one of the Tokyo Dome side. There were approximately 40,000 people in attendance for night one. And the dark match results. Side, let me get your thoughts on this. So we had a stardom match to kick off night one of Wrestle Kingdom. It wasn't televised. But what do you think about just the progression so far that, since Bushiroad first acquired Stardom, that even a few months into this relationship, they've already had the women competing inside the Tokyo Dome, even though it wasn't televised.
I thought they would do it. I didn't think they would do it this year. I thought it would probably be next year, and maybe they do like a dark match at kind of like Dominion or one of those shows. So I was a little bit surprised, but I'm glad. Like Stardom's got some really super talented women, and I think it'll add to New Japan. The only thing I was a little concerned with is maybe how some of the diehard New Japan fans would react to it, but apparently, there was no negativity towards the match or anything. I don't think the crowd was like super hot or super into it, but they were certainly not against it, which is is a good thing.
Yeah, so some of the crew from Post Wrestling were live at the Tokyo Dome, and they had a good time. Then I heard from a few of them that the crowd was very receptive to the match. It was Mayu Iwatani and Arisa Hoshiki against Hana Kimura and Julia, and it was that they said it was well received, and it was a quick match, 9-minute match, and they went out there and did their thing. And Mayu Iwatani and Hoshiki walked away with the victory.
Yeah, that's good, isn't it? It's good to get it in there, get the crowd used to it. I think it's the one thing which New Japan has lacked, and that is having women's wrestling. And now with Bushiroad owning Stardom, it's the perfect opportunity to have some top class women's wrestling, and not just having women's wrestling for the sake of it. They can have some, some real top quality stuff.
For sure. So next up, as Sai mentioned on the last AceCast, we have a bunch of tag matches, as he first put it. So we have Toa Hanare, Carl Fredericks, Clark Collins, and Alice Coughlin taking on Great Bad Shield, being Togi Makabe, Tomoyaki Homa, Yota Tsuji, and Yuya Yamura. The team of Hanare, Fredericks, Connors, and Coughlin got the victory. This was a battle of basically the young guys getting it in, besides Great Bad Shield, and Hanare is a young guy too. So everybody in this match was a young guy except for Hanare. Quick 7-minute match. Side. Did you really find anything interesting about this match, or you were just waiting for the main card to start?
No, not like this is my one kind of not gripe with New Japan, because what I like about New Japan is that they build the card, so like with every match it's got more meaning and it's more important, and so by the time you get to the main events, it's you're really like pumped and the card's built appropriately. And I feel like WWE has lost that art because they often put in like a title match to open the show or something like that. And I feel like I prefer this method, but I think New Japan sometimes goes completely the other way, and some of the opening tag matches can feel a bit meaningless. However, all the guys in this match are so talented, and like the New Japan is well set for the future. They're
Yeah,
gonna.
just to chime in real quick, I know you said some real positive things on a previous podcast about Carl Fredericks. Like
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
really high on him.
Yeah, he's just super talented. He's one of those guys who, to me, just gets it. And he's going to need a bit of polishing and a bit of this and a bit of that just to take him to that real top level. But I feel like even some of the other guys, like Alex Coughlin and Clark Connors, I do feel like in a few years these guys, because New Japan will send them on. What do they call it?
Excursion.
Excursion. Yeah, they'll send them out, to the UK or to Mexico or to the States now with their new brand out there as well. They'll send them out on excursion. They'll get them experience working different styles, which will only help them. And I do think they're well set, because this was an opening match which didn't really mean anything, but the ring work was outstanding. For guys who are at the very start of the card, it was very good.
Yeah, Sam, when you get a chance, I actually want you to go to Rare Pro's Twitter, and I want you to check out this picture they posted of Shota Umino when he was making his entrance. Dude got a whole new set of ring gear, looking cool as hell. Like I don't like they done flipped him already. So I give it about like 2021, 2022. We'll probably see Shota Umino beating the hell out of Okada after one of the big shows. But next up after that, we had Tenzan or Hiroyoshi Tenzan and Satoshi Kojima defeating Yuji Nagata and Manabu Nakanishi. Man, just to throw in this match, I'm gonna say this: Kojima and Nagata, they can still move.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know why, but I really enjoy watching them. Like they can still like they still got it, man. Like they can still move around. Like Tenzan and Nakanishi, they kind of tell they coming up on the tail end a little bit, but Nagata and Kojima, they definitely still have it.
Yeah, the way I look at it, look, I'm nearly 40, and even without my health problems with my back and stuff, I cannot move like these people do. Like Nagata is just incredible, and it's just like, it just amazes me how good. Like, I know that they're technically sound and they're just very good at what they do, but it's just the fact that they can still do the things that they can do at their age is impressive. And Tenkozy is
It is.
still so over. It's it's just really cool to watch.
So after that, we had what is this? An 8-man tag match, man, full of big names. It was all in celebration of the one and only Jushin Thunder Liger, who retired today at New Year's Dash. I don't know if you had the opportunity to see that side. It was very emotional. They, like I was good through the rest of it, but when they brought Liger's wife and son in the ring, that kind of it choked me up a little bit. I was like, damn, because that was a special one right there. And yeah, man, Jushin Thunder Liger. It was mentioned on commentary. This was the opening match of Wrestle Kingdom. Liger did not want to be in any main events. He said it is not about him. Even with New Year's Dash, literally everybody expected his retirement ceremony to be last. He said, "No, I'm going on first, and the main event is going to be the main event with the guys who are going to be here when I'm not here, which is going to be in the next tour in like 2 weeks." So
Yeah.
in this match, oh well, Sal, just let me first just your thoughts about the career of Jushin Thunder Liger and him willing to on his retirement after all the work he's put in just in professional wrestling period, he's willing to go on first in both Tokyo Dome shows and go on first in his own retirement ceremony.
It's it just says everything about the man and the wrestler, that after all those years, and let's be honest, wrestlers by trade have got an ego, you know,
For sure.
and he could have easily, you know, we've seen it with like Ric Flair, we've seen it with other people retiring where they have the big send off, and they should get that big send off, but it's always on last at the end of a show. But you know, Justin Thunder Liger was more interested. You know, he knew he was having his send off and his retirement, but he didn't want to take away from the stars of today and the guys who were going to be working that next tour in a couple of weeks. And like I remember watching Liger in WCW when I, you know, in ECW and stuff like that when I was a young whippersnapper, and it just amazes me. Like he can still go as well, which is just incredible to me. That, you know, if he'd decided he didn't want to retire, he could still work at a decent level, have good matches, and you know, do a lot of stuff. I'm also glad we got to see him in NXT for that match with
For sure.
uh,
Yeah.
who was
Tyler
it?
Breeze.
Yeah, that was real cool because it was just something which you know, you're not gonna see.
You don't
Uh,
think it was gonna happen?
no, you don't, do you? And you know, you saw Ibushi in the Cruiserweight Classic as well, which is, you know,
Mm.
this is interesting. But like, yeah, Liger's just a true legend, and I think him wanting his retirement thing to go on first just says everything about him. I
And
will say, I was super pissed that they had him lose on night one. Um, I felt like they could have given him that win, especially because they had him lose uh, to
Taguchi.
Gucci. I was like, come on,
But
seriously?
besides, do you don't you think that Liger probably was the one who wanted to take the
Yeah.
pin?
Oh yeah. Of course.
Yeah,
Yeah. He would have
because
said, and
I mean, because that's what you're supposed to do. Like, I think that's tradition. Like, you're supposed to, on your
yeah,
way out,
go out on your
you do
back.
you do the honors. But I get what you're saying. Like, had that big moment. The big, pop. Like, yeah, like a one. I get what you're saying. But your thoughts on this match? It was Naoki Sano, Otani, Takawa, Taguchi versus Liger, Tatsumi Fujinami, the great Sasuke, who was great, and Tiger Mask. I like, again, with the previous match that we just talked about. Some guys, a couple legends, and they still moving just how they were, a couple years ago or 10 years ago or whatever. Still moving well, still being productive in the ring. The thing I liked the most at the match, what like they didn't try to drag the match out. Like, it wasn't dragged. It was 8 minutes, quick. It was good for what it was. Everybody got their stuff in. Everybody got to get in the ring. Most everybody got to mix it up with Liger. And in the end, Taguchi got the pin. Like we said before, Taguchi's going to be on that tour coming up in a couple weeks. So, I think that does more favor for Taguchi, even though he is a baby face, so it doesn't mean anything in the Liger. But I think it's going to do some, it does well to have that in your back pocket if you want to use it. That, oh, I pinned Liger on his last so and so and so.
Yeah, I can see the logic to it, and I'm sure that it was Liger's choice to put over uh, Taguchi. I just felt like I was like we talked about in the last show. I really wished that they would have given him a one-on-one match on night two, just to go out and have him lose to Takashi or Hiromu or something. You know, just um, I felt like he deserved to have a one-on-one match. But again, that was probably his choice rather than New Japan's choice, I think. Um, this match was good. They got all their stuff in. Um, Sano hit this crazy suicide dive, which looked like it
That's what you're
really
talking
hurt. He just looked
about.
he looked like he'd knocked himself silly. Um, but yeah, the work, these guys, they're old, but the work was real good. Um, and Sasuke was really entertaining. I just enjoyed his work. But yeah, they got all their stuff in. I liked that they all got an entrance as well. They gave them
Yeah,
a
I
little
love that,
entrance.
man. I love
Mm.
that. Like, don't short anybody on that, man. You got a ring full of greatness. Like, don't short them. Everybody gets their own special entrance. Everybody gets their own pop from the fans. That was great. That's a nice touch for that.
Yeah,
Um,
especially because of who they are as well. they've all got like
Yeah.
these unique entrances, so you don't want to cut them short or not show them. So I was glad
And
they
New
did.
Japan, you need to buy the goddamn rights fees for these musics. And I'm tired of this
Oh
generic music
Jesus Christ!
popping
I
up on
know.
the. I'm tired of that, man. But next up, we had Suzuki Gun. We had Zack Sabre Jr., Minoru Suzuki, Taichi, and El Desperado coming out to Zack Sabre Jr.'s music instead of
Yeah.
Minoru Suzuki's music. But we later found out, sir, why that was the case. We're gonna get to that on the we covered night two. But we had they took on Sonata, Evil, Shingo Takagi, Bushi. Um, I just from all the action that took place, I really don't remember this match for what it was. I think Zack Sabre Jr. tapped out Bushi. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
that's what it was.
No,
He
he
tapped
tapped
out.
out Sonada.
He tapped out Sonata. Okay, yeah, he tapped out. Oh, did he?
Yeah, yeah. He
In the
tapped out
tag match?
Sonada and he wouldn't let go of him.
Okay.
Oh no, sorry, no. I tell you, like he tapped out Bushi and
Yeah,
then
he tapped out Bushi. Yeah,
he
I knew he
wouldn't let
tapped
go
out
of the
Bushi.
hold. Sorry, and then
Uh,
Sonada chased him off. Sorry, that was
okay.
my bad. But yeah,
Yeah,
it
so
was all right. It's setting up. It's really setting up the
Sonata
Zack
and
Sabre and Sonada. But it was
yeah.
good. It's good for what it is. It wasn't bad. It wasn't amazing, but it was what it needed to be.
So next up, we had Chaos, Hiroki Goto, Ishii, Yano, and Yoshihashi defeating Kenta, Bad Luck Fale, Yujiro Takahashi, and Chase Owens. I saw a funny tweet side that said they don't understand how Miss Peter was able to get on the Stardom show, but the women's wrestlers couldn't get on the show. I kind of found that funny a little bit. But I think this is building like just you said on the previous match, the Zack Sabre Jr. and Sonata match. I think this match is Chaos versus Bullet Club match, which is building to Goto versus Kenta on night two.
It was, yeah. And like I mentioned on the previous show with Goto, is his work is amazing. He's in phenomenal shape. I do struggle to get in. There's something about his character that I just don't really get invested in. But I don't know what it is. I don't know like I can't put my finger on it. There's something there. I will
Yeah,
say, go on.
just to add on to that, I know exactly what you're saying. Like that was just I don't know what it is about Goto. I feel like he's stuck in the mid card. Like he will forever be a great mid card wrestler, and he won't ever get over that hump. Like I don't know what it is, but I feel like that's his role. And
Yeah,
I feel like they kind of about to place Ishii in that same thing because you kind of see Ishii doing the same exact things as Goto. Like they flip flopping from time to time. But I agree with you 100%. Like I don't know what it is, but it's just like Goto is like, yeah, he's a great wrestler, but like, can you see him winning the heavyweight title?
no.
No.
He's
You
in
see him
awesome
winning
shape though.
but
He's
yeah,
got
for sure.
himself in some real good shape.
And he will beat the hell out of somebody for sure.
Yeah, but you know who hasn't? Who was in good shape, and they are not anymore is Fale. Um, if you go look back about 6 months ago, maybe a bit longer, Fale was the smallest I'd ever seen him. He was in phenomenal shape. Maybe like the start of 2019. But he is huge again. Like he seems to have put the weight back on, and he's just, he is what he is. He's like the giant knee, but
Yeah, but
uh,
for that, I think Fale, I think that's just his like so I think when certain people, I think they're just that's just their natural body type
yeah,
like
yeah.
that, and I think that works great for them. Like just to jump to like a basketball reference, I don't know if you know what this is, but there's a player named Zion Williamson, and people always kept saying that he needed to cut weight, but he's just like a naturally big dude, and it works for
Mm.
him, and that's why he's so good. So I think that's why that's kind of the same situation with Fale. Like that's just his natural body type, and I think that's what works best for him in terms of uh fitness and in terms of just feeling good overall. Because you never know, like some people might cut all that weight and then they might start feeling crappy you
Oh
know.
yeah.
So I think that might be good for him. Si, any additional thoughts about this tag match, or shall we get to the next one?
No, no. I think we're good. Other than I will say, Gino Gambino's growing on me massively.
I love Gino, man.
Really, really good.
Let's say I wanted to point out it was one. Now that you bring that up, he said something. Rocky Romero was talking about getting paid for commentary, and Gino was like, "You get paid like that." That was hilarious. Gino was great, man. Like he really adds that like comedic aspect to commentary, because you need that sometimes, man. Like somebody who's not trying too hard to be funny, but they're funny. Like
Yeah, yeah.
that's like what Gino's great. So
He's
next up
got
we had
that comedic timing, haven't he?
yeah. So next up we had the IWGP Tag Team Championships. We had Gorillas of Destiny defending the titles against Finn Juice Robinson and David Finlay. So we have new IWGP Tag Team Champions and Juice Robinson and David Finlay. Sir, what did you think of this match? And what did you think of the finish? Because I saw a lot of people said that they thought the finish was kind of not it wasn't bad. People were just like, it was abrupt, I guess. Like they were like, damn, like that's it. Because the last time we saw Finn Juice, they had that crazy good tag team match with Eva Sonata in the World Tag League Finals, and people just kind of thought, I would assume, like me, that we were going to have another banger, but it's just like the finish abruptly. I mean, the finish just ended.
It kind of like it felt like it was just getting going, and then it
Yeah,
just finished. And I really enjoy the Gorillas of Destiny's work. I like I feel like their work is different to a lot of other wrestlers in New Japan. It's a bit quicker and a bit but like quicker in a different way. It's more kind of like aggressive and more like fights like than sort of moves, and I quite like it. But yeah, I felt like this match was just getting going, and then it just finished. I was slightly surprised with how much they beat the Bullet Club over the 2 nights. I think I'd said in the show that I thought that the Bullet Club would either retain this title, or they would win the gauntlet match in night 2, just because they normally like to have some titles on the Bullet Club or give them a win at Wrestle Kingdom, and they just like, I know the Gorillas of Destiny have got a habit of, they always seem to change the tag titles at Wrestle
at
Kingdom,
Wrestle Kingdom. Oh yeah,
and
that's like routine.
I think the problem with this match was, one, it finished really abruptly after it was just getting going, but also I feel like it was quite predictable in that everyone expected Finn Juice to win, and Finn Juice is a stupid name.
So yeah, I really think New Japan, they need to do something with their tag team division. They need to beef it up because the tag division is thin, man. Like it is
Yeah,
thin. Like I know an idea that a lot of people toss out there with just combining the junior heavyweight and the heavyweight tag divisions and just letting it be one, because
yeah,
you can't keep those two separate, man. There's too many good matches that you're leaving off the table. Like I'm pretty sure people want to see Show and Yo versus God. Like we got a glimpse of that during the G1, the last G1 this past summer. So I think New Japan really needs to beef up their tag team division, bring some people in for World Tag League in 2020.
the thing is, because
Just,
they've God,
you
sorry, I
go
was
ahead.
going to say, because they've got so many titles in New Japan, I think it wouldn't do them any harm to get put the junior tags and the heavyweight tags into one division and unify the titles into one title, because you've still got the never open weight 6-man. You've still got all the singles titles as
Those are
well.
basically non-existent.
But the 6 men, they could easily make that mean something, because they've always got stables.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
just have it as like the stable, so you don't have to have. I think I saw it on the Fightful podcast yesterday. I think it might have been, where they suggested have it as like a kind of stable 6-man, so it doesn't have to be the same 3 guys all the time defending it. But which I thought was quite an interest, just to make it something different, give it a bit of life. But yeah, I think I'd blend the tag team division, to be honest, just to give me some, because I'm fed up of seeing the same 2 or 3 matches.
Now, just quick note on this side. What do you think about New Japan pushing back the G1 Climax Tournament finals until October this year instead of August because of the 2020 Summer Olympics? A lot of people, I saw a lot of varying opinions on this. I think it could, it's something decent to have, the G1, switch it up this year instead because when you have the G1 winner crowned in August, it kind of takes the excitement out of the rest of 2019, because it's like, you don't really expect that person to actually lose their briefcase and
Yeah,
then not go on to Wrestle Kingdom. You like, oh yeah, that's gonna be the Wrestle Kingdom main event. So to have the G1 finish in October and it only being 2 months away from the Dome, it's kind of adds a little bit more excitement to it.
Yeah, I think so. And I think, it's just one of those things where it's kind of unavoidable. The Olympics is going to be huge. Um, so they had to do something, and they would either bring it forward or push it back. And I think pushing it back is the better choice of the two.
So next up, we had the IWGP US Heavyweight Championship match, Texas Death Match, no DQ, no pinfall, victory only by 10 count out or submission. We had John Moxley defeating Lance Archer by knockout. They beat the hell out of each other. First, before we get into the match, why does John Moxley seem so different? Well, not so different, but he seems different in New Japan than he does in AEW. I don't know what it is, but like I find him like so not so because I don't want to exaggerate. I'm gonna just say I found him just like a tad more interested in Japan than I do in AEW. Am I like off with that?
No, I think he's more captivating in New Japan. He's a bit more aggressive. And what I like about it is even with this, he did like you're doing like a gimmick match and a death match as such, and he's using weapons. He's still his actual wrestling is good in between. And I do feel like with AEW, they've gone too much with the weapons with him. And I just feel like they've kind of sold him as almost like a deathmatch wrestler a
Mm.
bit too much. And I don't know. It's difficult to put your finger on it, but I agree with you that in New Japan, I find him more captivating as a character. Everything's a bit more aggressive. Even down to the names of the moves. Like it's the Death Rider instead of the Paradigm Shift or whatever it is. And I just find he's just more interesting.
Yeah, so Moxley and Archer, they beat the hell out of each other.
Oh yeah,
That's exactly what this was. I'm glad that they just went at it. They went hard. The one of the spots I enjoyed in this match, like I'm sure you did, was the finish when he hit the Death Rider through the table. Man, those New
yeah, man.
Japan tables, man. Oh my goodness, they look like they suck, like
Yeah. Well, I
bad.
think was it Jericho when he did his Omega match, and
Uh,
then they did the podcast afterwards, and he said they just suck. They're just thick. They just may as well just be like a table, like a proper table,
yeah,
not a
yeah,
gimmick table in any way.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Here's a question for you: do you think they should have had Shota be there for this?
Nah, man. I think Shota needs to be. I mean, I don't think it would have hurt having Shota. I think it would have been cool, like a nice entry, it'd been a nice pop for Shota to be there. But I mean, Shota's doing his own thing right now. Red Pro, like he's killing it right now.
Yeah, he
But
didn't need to be
I
there, did he?
yeah, but I know Shota did write an open letter on New Japan's website to Moxley, and he kind of said his little thank you to John, for teaching him some stuff. Like he said, he didn't like learn everything from him, but like he learned a couple things about character work and stuff like that. And I know Moxley has some good stuff to say about Shota, thinking he's going to go far. Hopefully they'll
Yeah.
cross paths again. But let me ask you this, Si. So with John Moxley being the IWGP US Heavyweight Champion, do you think that AEW will make any mention of this on Dynamite this week? That he's the new IWGP US Heavyweight Champion, because they did not mention that last time at
I
all.
do
Mm.
because um, New Japan mentioned AEW and the AEW title quite a lot. They mentioned the AEW more than they mentioned ROH,
They
and
definitely did.
they
That's true.
also the little bit of New Year's Dash I've seen. They mentioned the door being open over and over again. So I think New Japan, being the company that they are, wouldn't mention it if there wasn't a good chance that something's going to get done.
Yeah.
I don't think it's
I
going to
know.
be. I don't think it's going to be like next week or anything like that. I think it's going to be a while because I think there's a lot of animosity and hurt feelings there. But they need to get over it, both sides, because there's money to be made, and I think a New Japan kind of invasion angle going up against NXT would be a
Yeah, AEW, right?
real good thing for AEW.
All right.
Um,
So I know Jericho said during one of the little post match scrums, he was real keen on like he was real big on the New Japan and AEW working together, and I think Jericho's just being a good businessman by doing that because he wants to, of course, have both sides
He knows
working
that.
together, and it creates more opportunities. For me, I think it's just more so of New Japan being open to it. I don't think necessarily AEW, or I should say Tony Khan is more like, is he big? I don't think he's really big on the idea of working with New Japan, because I know I saw it in I know Dave Meltzer reported that Tony Khan, well, Rocky Romero and Chris Jericho were the ones to, talk to Tony Khan about involving the AEW title in the storyline, and
Yeah.
Tony Khan approved that, and that was all good. But as far as AEW, bringing that to AEW, he was not no, like, I don't want that, but you guys can do that, and do that in New Japan. So, like you said, I think there is room for something to happen, but I think it needs to be AEW who is willing to let that happen, because I think New Japan is willing to let that happen. But also, on the other hand, I don't think that's going to be any good for Ring of Honor because I don't know
No,
what's
no,
going to happen
no.
to them, man. Because if they lose New Japan, oh boy.
Yeah, there's going to be problems. I think if they lose New Japan, they'll link up with Impact. I do. And I think that would be a good fit for him, actually. One of my favourite spots of this match was when Archer catches him in like he catches Moxley when he's going for a dive with like a choke slam, and he kind of hits the young lion guy, and then he choke slams Moxley, and then he just dives over everyone. And like, I don't know how old Archer is, but he's not a youngster. So to be
He's
able
no
to,
spring chicken, sir.
yeah, man, to be able to do that the way he did it is impressive as hell.
So what did you happen to see Archer's Instagram post about when he started gushing blood after he took the death ride through the table?
I didn't know.
His
No,
his arm got split, man.
was
His
that with the
arm got
finish?
split.
Was it?
Oh yeah, when he put him through the table, yeah.
Oh, I'll have to have a look at that because I know there was blood, but I couldn't. They didn't really show the cut on the TV. What did you think about the spot with the shopping bag and he using the claw?
I actually like that. Like that was inventive.
Yeah,
Well,
I thought it was something different.
I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna say innovative, but that was kind of cool. I like that spot. I was like, oh damn, it's like, I mean, because Lance Archer, the whole thing is somebody's got to die. So, and I was like, well, that's a way to kill somebody for sure, right there. But put
What
a
about
shopping
the
bag.
the rules of the match? With it was basically last man standing, wasn't it?
Yeah,
What did you think about that? Was that what you were expecting going in, or did you just
yeah,
think it was going to be like
yeah.
a hardcore match?
No, because they announced the rules weeks prior, so I kind of knew what it was.
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean, I was expecting it to be like, hard hit, and I was expecting blood. I was expecting them to beat the hell out of each other, and it was exactly what I thought it was. And I think it was a good match. I
They
don't think it
didn't
was any.
overdo the 10 count as well, which helps.
Yeah, they didn't do that. So, I think it was a good match for what it was. John Moxley, new IWGP US Heavyweight Champion, and side next up on the card we had what I think is the best match of night one, and possibly the best match of all of Wrestle Kingdom 14, was Hiromu Takahashi defeating Will Ospreay for the junior heavyweight title. Side, my God, this
Probably the
match
best match of
was
2020.
this match was a banger. Firstly, I got to get your thoughts on that great Sasuke. I mean, on the I said the Sasuke specials part, the Sasuke special
Yeah.
part when Will Ospreay. I do like it. Just amazes me that human beings are able to. He did a cartwheel and then just bounce up and flip over the top rope, landed on his feet, got Germaned, landed on his feet, went past Hiromu, dove through the bottom rope
He got belly to
like,
belly, didn't he? As he
yeah,
went like through it and then did it again.
and then did the Sasuke special and possibly hurt his heel, but still finished the match. This was a banger.
Oh
It was
yeah.
great.
So do you remember when Ricochet was feuding with Velveteen Dream and he dived out the ring and landed on his
Yeah.
feet? And everyone was like, "Whoa, that's incredible!" And it was. It's
That
incredible.
no that was crazy.
It
That was
was just
crazy.
mad because he like did like a somersault, didn't he, and landed on his feet outside the ring to go like nose to nose. And this kind of reminded me of that. But what he did is he did that, then did the German, landed on his feet, then ran full speed, got belly to belly into the ring, and then ran back and did it again. And I was just like, geez, he's this guy.
Man,
People criticize Ospreay because he's, it's like it's rehearsed and it's this and it's that. Like, to me, he's changed. So like a few years ago when he did that, the matches with Ricochet, I could understand why people criticized him for it being like overly produced and overly rehearsed, and it didn't look like necessarily like fighting. It was just like a load of real impressive spots. Whereas this match, they started off at 100 mph, and then as Ospreay gets more aggressive and he's targeting the neck, because if it was a fight, that's what you would do, because Hiromu's had a broken neck, so you would target it. And I thought he was really clever with the way that he did it. He didn't. I was glad to see Hiromu not doing a load of like German suplexes landing on his head and stuff like that. I thought the way they attacked his neck was quite clever, in that it looked nasty and aggressive, but it was pretty safe. And I just thought it was just a great match.
So with the what do you think about Ospreay's hidden blade move? Like, dude, I cringe every time I see it, like in a good way, because I'm like, bro, if he has to hit that thing perfectly, because if he doesn't, he is knocking somebody the hell out like instantly. And that he did the same thing to Ibushi.
I was going to say, didn't he knock someone out? It was Ibushi, was it?
Yeah, definitely was.
And I
He
was
concussed
thinking,
him, but yeah,
I was
same thing.
thinking, like, I was like, they kept teasing it, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I want them to do it to Hiromu, just because the window of it going wrong, like, is so small that, like, you've got to be like inch perfect with it. But this match was just it was a phenomenal mix of crazy fast, like, wrestling like you'd expect from these two and from junior heavyweights, but also I thought the psychology was amazing for the whole thing, and it was just awesome. And I thought it was easily the match of the weekend.
So the thing I like about New Japan matches specifically is like they it's like every like for the top matches, it's like they all have these like for the last 10 minutes they just have these crazy stretches. Like it's always like in all the top matches, like the matches it might not start off super crazy and it might not be fast paced, or it might they start off and they build to it, but like the last 10 minutes just crazy. Like, and that's when you see all the wild stuff and all the stuff that ends up going viral. But yeah, I agree with you saying. It was a great match. I think you predicted that Hiromu Takahashi was gonna beat Ospreay. I think I chose Ospreay. So sad you have scored one on me, sir. And Takahashi's the new junior heavyweight champion. I wasn't expecting him to get the title, right away. But I like now hindsight being 2020, I think that was the right call. Next up, oh, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, what I also like is that when they build up to that final stretch, you often get a lot of like callbacks to previous spots or previous injuries, previous incidents, things which have happened throughout the year. They'll call back to them, and you did it with the Naito match in the night 2 as well, where he hit the splash. It just, those callbacks, they reward you for long-term viewing. They reward you for paying attention, and that's something which I've talked about at length with WWE is reward me for watching every second of every show every week by going back to different things and different aspects. And New Japan does that real well. Quick question: what would you do with Will Ospreay now?
Move him up to the heavyweight division.
Yeah,
because I don't think it's nothing left for him to do in the junior heavyweights. Like
I want
nothing.
to see Naito versus Ospreay for the title. I by the end of 2020, I want to see a world champion Ospreay, heavyweight champion.
I mean, Ospreay, I said that's one of his That's one of his big goals. And I know doing a couple interviews, people asked him like, you can go to WWE. And Osprey, he's never said no to that, but he's always said that I want to accomplish my goals in Japan first. And so, maybe if he does that, you never know, man. Like I know Will Ospreay has never for sure said that he would never go to WWE. Like he's never said that. He's
What I
always
always
left that
find interesting with with New Japan is I wonder sometimes if they're reluctant to
I know exactly what you're about to say.
to give
Yeah.
like say an Osprey to like maybe his final goals is to get the heavyweight title, and then they think, oh well, if he gets that title, he's kind of accomplished all he can in Japan, so he'll want like a new challenge.
Yeah.
And really, they shouldn't think like that. But then they have, they got to protect themselves, and they have been stung over the last few years with, Omega and the Bucks leaving, and Nakamura and Styles, and people who felt like they had achieved everything they could achieve in Japan, and they needed a fresh challenge. But people are human beings naturally want to challenge themselves. So I just think you've got to book, as they've got to just book what makes sense, what's the best for business, what's who's hot and who's not. And at the moment, Osprey couldn't be much hotter in terms of an all-round wrestler.
Yeah, I think the best thing for Will Ospreay now, heavyweight division, maybe if Naito ends up dropping the Intercontinental title, maybe that'll be good for Ospreay. Or maybe you can have Ospreay be a part of New Japan America a little bit, have go around with that. I wouldn't mind saying Ospreay versus Moxley. Wouldn't mind saying that at all, actually. But next up on the card, we have Tetsuya Naito defeating Jay White for the IWGP Intercontinental title. So I did not think this match needed to go 33 minutes, especially after the match they had at the G1 this past summer. The final stretch was good, but I did not think this match would last this long. But it was all building towards the big night too, Tetsuya Naito's special moment, and yeah.
So here's a controversial take for you. I preferred this match to the main event of night one.
Whoa! What?
Not that I'm not necessarily saying it is better, but I just really liked the story of Naito having his knee all messed up, and them just really like selling the fact that he just could, like the way he would like go to run to the ropes, and he just got this unique way of selling. It's just different to everyone else. Like he would run to the ropes and he would just crumple, or he'd go for the tornado DDT and he would just couldn't do it. Maybe it's not a better match, but just the story, I really enjoyed Naito's selling, should we say? So maybe that just added a little bit of extra points for me. But the main event was incredible.
Okay, I get what you're saying. Now you just prefer the psychology of the match opposed to the actual match. All right, yeah, I get what you're saying. Okay, we gonna give you a pass, we give you a pass, brother, because we almost had to get on you real quick.
You know what? Throw hands, then you were ready to throw down.
Okay, so yeah, Naito got the victory over Jay White. Side, how good is Jay White as a heel? Love Jay White, man. Guy's great.
He is awesome as a heel. He's everything which which WWE wants Baron Corbin to be. Except Jay White's entertaining and good, and
Damn. It's like tell him how you really feel.
Well, no, I like Baron Corbin. I just think his booking's ruining him. Like, I think he could be as good as Jay White in the ring, and as a heel, he just isn't given the opportunity to do it by the people who book the storylines and stuff. They make it harder for their workers to achieve what they want them to achieve. Look, the only thing I'd say with Jay White now is he came out of this match as like a top, even though he lost, he was cemented as like this real bastard, this real horrible heel who had like messed up Naito's leg, and he was like really kind of like the top heel. But then what happened on night 2 kind of elevated Kenta to that position, which is a kind of interesting dynamic that they've both in Bullet Club, both positioned as like the top heels in the company.
Maybe a bit of power struggle there, sir.
Yeah. I hope they do it better than they did when they did it with the Elite. But I feel like Bullet Club is what it was supposed to be.
That's a good point. That's a good point. I really think of that. That's a good point. You
I
talking
feel
about
like
with Cody and Kenny?
yeah. I feel like the Bullet Club now is what it's always supposed to have been, where it's like these dastardly heel foreigners who are completely different to everyone else. Like, you don't see much interference in New Japan. They're constantly like interference and weapons and cheating and all these things. And I feel like that was what the Bullet Club was supposed to be when it was started, you know, with Prince Devitt and Tamatonga and those guys. And I feel like it became babyface because of the people they put in it and because of the way those people are portrayed. I just feel like now it's back where it should be. As you know, when they go to America and stuff, they're always going to be over as faces because they're such a popular stable. But I feel like in Japan, they're right back to where they should be, which is dastardly bastards.
Yeah, man. To the Jay White point, I think Jay White is probably like 26, 27. He's already won. I think he's been U.S. champion. He's been Intercontinental champion, and he's been heavyweight champion. And he's literally done mostly everything that guys who've been in that company for years have not been able to do. Jay White is definitely the man, and he's going to be
I read somewhere
one
that
of their main heels going forward.
yeah. I read somewhere earlier on Twitter. I can't remember who said it was. I think it was someone semi-reliable that WWE is well into Jay White and Sonata. Those two they're the two they want from New Japan apparently. But I just don't see Jay White going anywhere at the moment. I just think he's got that spot where they clearly love him. He's, like you just said, he's achieved so much at such a young age. I just don't think he should be in any rush to go, and I don't think he will be.
Yeah, man. So next up, we had the IWGP Heavyweight Championship, the main event of night 1. We had Kazuchika Okada beating Kota Ibushi. The Rainmaker finished it off. I think this match was fantastic. Once again, one of those matches with the final stretches when it was just crazy brilliant. The story was perfect in this match. 39 minutes. Just I wouldn't say it was like, I'm not gonna be like, oh, it was one of the best matches I've ever seen, but it was definitely a great match. And like I like sometimes the final stretch of matches can really change how a person feels about the overall match. So like I think it was that case for me. Like at first, I thought it was just a really good match. Like and then probably last 10-15 minutes, I was like, damn, this is really great.
So I've watched this match twice. The first time I watched it, I thought it was really good. I thought, like you said, the final stretch made it go from really good to great. And then the second time I watched it, I was like, okay, that was amazing. However, I still think Omega versus Okada is better, and I still think Omega versus Tanahashi is better.
I take side in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Live on the ACEcast, ladies and gentlemen. My guy from Cardiff, got him. So yeah, Kota Ibushi took the L. Kazuchika Okada was still IWGP Heavyweight Champion. Aside, what do you think of Okada's entrance, man? The nice graphics.
I'll tell you what I think. I think that whoever was in charge of the shots, the camera and the editing and all that type producing or whatever needs to be fired because they missed the big reveal to reveal his trunks, but you know, you can't be doing that because that was a big deal. You know, he's had those stupid pants for a while,
Stupid.
but
Yeah.
I didn't like them. Come on, man, they were not cool.
They would
Those
say so. During this match, man, the one thing I really like about Kota Ibushi, I really enjoy. Like he's one of like the most stiff strikers. Like his kicks sound like they really hurt,
shotguns, isn't they?
and I love it, man. And then another thing that I really like about Ibushi, what he's doing now is when he has those moments during the match where he start having like that blank stare and he just start beating the hell out of his opponent. I love that, bro. Like that is that like it's a real nice touch to Ibushi, like, cause he's a baby face, and then like he still has those points during the matches. Like
He looks like a serial killer.
like that, like I could kill you right now, like with my bare hands. Ibushi's great. Like I love when he was stomping out Okada and just kept landing those kicks in it. Then Red Shoes came in and tried to like pull Ibushi away, and Ibushi was still like holding Red Shoes off, like kicking the hell out of Okada. Like it was great.
I think I'd quite like to see, because obviously Ibushi lost the 2 matches over night 1 and 2, which we'll get to in a minute. I'd like to see that blank stare become more and more frequent, particularly towards maybe the G1 and the end of the year, where he just goes on a tear and starts messing people up, and maybe doesn't go like full heel, but like gets like an aggressive streak as he realizes that, you know, if he wants to get over that final hurdle and win at the Tokyo Dome and win the title, he has to change something about the way he goes about his business, and that's what he goes with. And I feel like they could do similar to what they've done with Naito over the last couple of years. It's like that kind of redemption sort of story where he came up short, and then he, you know, and whether it's next year or the year after, he comes good and gets the title and stuff. I saw loads of people before New Year's Dash today saying that they wanted Sanada or Kota Ibushi to join the Bullet Club, and I was like, I don't really see it. I think Sanada joining the Bullet Club could have been interesting, because you don't really see that in New Japan where people jump stables too much. So like, and Sanada's like a big name. I thought that would have been quite a cool twist, but as far as I know, they didn't go down that route.
Yeah, I think Sonata, it would be beneficial for him to get out of the shadow of Naito, but not turn on him, or even turn on him, maybe even turn on him. But I think Sonata, instead of joining another stable, I think it would be, if he were to leave LIJ, I think it would be best for him to go on his own and just be on his own. I think that would be very beneficial to him.
Do you know what I think would be beneficial to him? Is to turn on Naito, go off on his own, do his own thing, but then kind of come back to LIJ, like in like a year's time, and almost like it was something he had to do, and they kind of, I don't know how to explain it, but like he kind of comes back to the family sort of thing after making some mistakes or decisions, and he kind of goes down that route because he's so desperate to win the big one that he doesn't know where to turn or what to do. And maybe you tease him joining like a Bullet Club, but he doesn't. But he still turns on Naito, and you just add something different to his character. I feel like Sanada as a worker is amazing, and he's really captivating, and people find him interesting. People are behind him, but I feel like sometimes his characters stayed the same for so long that maybe he could do with just something different to shake things up.
Yeah, you to that point, you know, just for conversation's sake, I think that would hurt Sonata a lot, because him leaving Lij and then going back, it's like, well, you couldn't handle the pressure on your own, so you got to come back to us type thing. But I mean, you know, I do see what you're saying. Like, it's, you know, Sonata has had a handful of opportunities to have the heavyweight title and failed time and time again. I mean, it could eventually, make for a great moment when he eventually wins the big one. But I guess we'll see over time. But yeah, Kazuchika Okada at the end of night one, the IWGP heavyweight champion. We move on to night two. We had the big gauntlet match for the six-man tag team titles, and in the end, it was Shingo Takagi, Evil, and Bushi walking away with the title. So, what do you see? Well, as far I know you elaborated earlier, but what do you see for the six-man tag titles in the future?
Yeah, I think I would go with what Sean Ross Sapp said, like make it like a, keep it 6-man titles, but make it almost like a free bird type rule where anyone from the stable who is the champion can defend it. I just think it gives them a bit more freedom to mix up the matches a bit, make it a bit more interesting, and give those stables like a meaning when they haven't got a particular feud for those people. I also want Chase Owens to get something meaningful because I just feel like his work is so good.
Speaking of Chase Owens, anybody who's listening to this, I wonder anybody like legit, if you listen to this, go back and watch Chase Owens' triple threat match with DJ Black and somebody else from ROH's Center Stage show from last year. Like that was one of the best three-way matches I've seen like in the past 2 years. So like that was fantastic. Chase Owens got it, man. He really does. Like
Yeah,
he can go.
he's a talented
That's one thing
dude.
for sure.
Do you think
But
if he was in better shape, he'd have had a bigger push?
no, I don't really think that has nothing to do with it. I just think like they just don't really have any plans for him outside of being tagged along with Bullet Club.
Yeah, he's
But
kind of like a soldier, isn't he?
yeah, but right after that we had Jushin Thunder Liger's last match in New Japan Pro Wrestling. He was defeated by Hiromu Takahashi and Ryu Lee, otherwise known as Dragon Lee. Liger team with Sano. Once again, this was one. They didn't drag it out too long. It was great for what it was. It was funny to me seeing Hiromu and Dragon Lee team up. But I mean, I kind of like the cool stuff that Hiromu did. Like he was kind of mean mugging Dragon Lee a little bit. Like you broke my neck. Like I don't like you type of thing. Like he was, he had those little moments during the match. But Liger once again took the pin. Uh, went out like a top man, as you would say, Si. And
Yeah.
what do you think about the match? Takahashi pinning Liger, and I think it was a nice. Just to add on real quick before you speak, I think it was a nice little touch for Hiromu, the new IWGP Junior Champion, to pin the 11th time Junior Champion. So I think that was a real nice touch. And what do you think about Takahashi and Dragon Lee coming together for this match?
So, okay, so with Liger, I thought it was the right decision to have Takahashi pin him. I liked it. It was a nice touch, the way they talked afterwards as well. The match, the match was what it was. It was good. It was decent. There was nothing bad about it. It was pretty quick. I would have preferred to see Liger versus Takahashi 1-on-1 for the title.
Yeah, man.
I think the story they could have told for that would have been amazing. Like, as Liger's trying to win it one last time before he retires, Takahashi's facing like his hero. I just feel like New Japan could have told this incredible story with that. But, they chose not to go that way. He chose not to go that way. So, I get it. I wasn't a massive fan of having Ruli and Takahashi team unless I said before, I said I didn't mind them teaming if they kind of teased a lot of friction more than what they did. I would like to have seen maybe Ruli go like heel and maybe attack him after the match. Or I
That's what
think
I thought. That's exactly what I thought. Yeah.
and I think we talked about it actually on the last show that obviously with the name change as well, which has come since, I think I said that he should attack him after the show and like put his head in a chair or something, do something real bad to his neck, as if he's trying to break his neck again. Because I felt like that would really elevate Dragon Lee as it was then. to like a real like upper card heel. And they did well, they didn't go for that. But I felt like, especially with the name change, I thought like that really was going to come, because I thought they were going to build him up as like a bad heel. Does look like they're going to go with this match, because they did tease it a little bit, and he, like you say, he was mean mugging him and stuff. I would like to have just seen a little bit more friction and a bit more hostility, particularly from Takahashi, because he broke his neck, but
Yeah.
it was good for what it was.
I like how the commentary built up how Dragon Lee and Takahashi could be the next Liger versus Sano.
Yeah,
And that was
yeah,
that was a
nice touch.
that was a real nice touch that they added. I do think that Dragon Lee and Hiromu is gonna be something that we're gonna be seeing for a real long time going forward. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's the match for Sakura Genesis on March 31st. Dragon Lee versus Hiromu for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title. I think that's gonna be a good one. And I would really love if they were to do a callback of the alley oop bomb that broke Hiromu's neck. Like if they were to try to set that up and like act like he was going to hit the move and counter it out, or actually hit it this time.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that's no shot at Dragon Lee either. That's just what it was. That's the move that broke his neck. But on to the next one, we had the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles. We had Show and Yo with Rocky Romero defeating Taiji Ishimori and El Phantasmo. Show and Yo have done it against IWGP Tag Team Champions. What do you think? Like I know me and you talked about the heavyweight tag team titles. You think it's just best to just unite the tag team divisions, and so if you do unite the tag team divisions, is there just I don't really think it's a point for a junior heavyweight title, right? Just regular title.
Yeah, I think I would completely I would do like a big feud between the champions of each one. I would unify them as the IWGP Tag Team Championship, and then your tag division just goes from not looking very strong to looking real strong, because you'd have like these two teams. You'd have Chaos. You could have the Bullet, the other Bullet Club teams. You can have the Gorillas Destiny. They do need to bring some fresh teams, and you've got LIJ, you've got Suzuki Gun.
Yeah, right now, they put up Zack Sabre Jr., Minoru a few times. We have Evil Sonata, Finjuice, Gorillas of Destiny. You can mix up different parents from different stables, but like as far as like tag teams, like two guys that are always together, they don't really have that. I mean, you could always mix it up, but I think I think that was kind of one of the turnoffs from the ending of World Tag League last year was just that the teams were so makeshift and there were no like real solid teams.
Yeah, I agree. And they in the tag league, like they have good matches, and it's the wrestling is good and all that sort of stuff, but the tag teams feel very thrown together.
Yeah.
And that does take away from your investment in those matches then, because they don't feel like proper teams. I will say I really like El Phantasmo. He's so talented, and he's one of my new favorites. I gotta say, every time I've watched him, I just enjoy his work more and more, and I feel like he's really embracing the kind of Bullet Club heel dynamic. I think it was on New Year's Dash. He was doing like Liger poses and stuff, like half an hour after they'd had the retirement ceremony and stuff like that. He gets it, and he's very talented.
So, do you ever think Show is gonna turn on Yo? I always kind of get that vibe from Show. Like he gonna end up turning on him one day. I don't know why.
Do you think?
I don't know why. I just feel like Show gonna end up turning on Yo. He just looks like a heel to me. Like I don't know. I just always felt like one of these days they gonna end up turning Show. But I mean,
to me, they're one of those teams that I feel they're one of those teams I feel like they'll always be together. I don't know why, but it shows the bigger one, isn't he?
Yeah, he's the big one. He's the one that look like he could choke you out. Yeah. Yeah, that's the one that look like he could choke you out. But
Yeah.
uh, right after that, we had Zack Sabre Jr. defeating Sonata to obtain the RPW Rare Pro British Heavyweight Championship. The finish of this match was actually a callback side to their match of the G1 and
Yeah.
past matches that they've done with Sonata has always done that the little roll up thing where he sits on and pushes his weight back on the legs and stuff like that. It gets 3 count. Zack Sabre Jr. did that exact same thing. Got his win back. I really didn't expect Sonata to be British heavyweight champion because I don't expect Sonata to be traveling to the UK to
No,
do Rare
no.
Pro shows. so yeah, I'm pretty sure I expected Zack Sabre Jr. to retain this. I always enjoy watching Zack singles matches. He has a very unique style. The submission-based style that he does always it's a very attractive style to me. I always like watching him wrestle. Fantastic wrestler. But like you said, like you said previously, I think Sonata's kind of in that holding pattern, and then he's going to be in that holding pattern for a while, and he might fade into the background with Naito, all the spotlight being on him. But just your thoughts on this match, your thoughts on the callback finish, and what do you think is next for? Well, I think what's next for Zack Sabre Jr. is going to be Will Ospreay based off New Year's Dash. But what do you think what do you think needs to happen with the British heavyweight title as far as it goes in New Japan? And what do you think about this match overall?
I love this match. I saw a few people on Twitter they were kind of complaining about this match and they didn't like it. I loved it. It wasn't like the level of the main events, but I just really enjoyed it. It was different. Zack Sabre Jr. is so inventive in the stuff he does. He's so clever in the stuff he does that it just makes a difference to the show to have just that bit of relief and some different kind of work. I love, like just discussed a minute ago, the callback is something which is valuable to me as a viewer because I like to be rewarded for watching stuff. So I like to be rewarded for the fact that I watched the G1 and their previous matches, and to see the callback to that. In terms of the RPW British Heavyweight title, I kind of feel like New Japan have got enough titles, so I wouldn't be disappointed.
Definitely.
I wouldn't be disappointed if they kind of quietly not got rid of it, but just quietly let it go back to Rev Pro and maybe just
Let it
now and again.
let it stay in real. That's what you
Yeah,
basically
just
trying to say.
yeah. Just because there's so many titles, and I feel like because there's so many, it can devalue the titles because it just feels like every match is a title match, and then that takes away from those matches.
So after that side, we had John Moxley, the champion, defending the IWGP US Heavyweight title against one Juice Robinson, or as the ring announcer like to say, Juicy Robinson. I love the ring announcer, but man, he is great. That dude is great. But yeah, Moxley got another victory over Juice Robinson. Juice Robinson had the opportunity to get the double gold dash before Naito did, but he failed. So we have John Moxley leaving New Japan with the IWGP US Heavyweight title. It was a good match for what it was. I still think that match from Best of the Super Juniors was better. But Ty, the real story of this match, sir, the real story of this match was one Minoru Suzuki coming out right after John Moxley got the victory and started brawling with John Moxley. How amped are you for Moxley versus Suzuki when it happens?
I
Uh-oh.
don't
Uh-oh.
I don't know when
Uh-oh.
I don't know when, but I need Suzuki.
Okay,
I
okay.
popped
Yeah.
real big when Suzuki's music finally hit because I was disappointed not to hear it on night one. I need this match. I need this match now. I wanted it there and then. I needed it. I was a little bit surprised how easily Suzuki kind of choked him out and gave him the pile driver. I thought they might brawl a bit more, but then you just had a match and stuff, so you can kind of forgive that side of it.
And he had a death match the night before.
Yeah. I got to say, I don't know why Juice Robinson cut his hair, but I don't like his new look. I do not like his new look at all. It sucks.
That's my guy side right there, man. My man has no cut cards for no human on this earth. I respect it. But yes,
I'll say what I think, good or bad. It is what it is, and I don't like what his look is now. I feel like he looked like more of a star with his dreads and
with the dreads, yeah.
And I'm a sucker for dreads, so
But yeah, man.
That's what I'm gonna get.
So yeah, whoa, you get the dreads?
Yeah,
Pull that out on
I'm gonna get the Bray Wyatt dreads, the really long ones.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna confirm it right here. Sal will have locks on the post WrestleMania podcast.
Oh, I don't know if I can be able to get them that quick. My hair's only down to about like my chest, so I think it needs to be a bit longer. But I'm going there, getting there.
I can't wait. We're gonna have Sal looking like Jay White on the podcast.
Yeah, man.
So
when you come to Cardiff for NXT Cardiff, we'll
the invite, there it is. I'll be there. You ain't gotta say less. I'll be there.
And so we'll sort out the dreads then.
So yeah, I had tweeted out that Minoru Suzuki has done 2 GCW Bloodsport events, and Moxley
I saw your tweet actually.
Said he owed Josh Barnett for missing the last Bloodsport. So I mean, what a way to pay it off. WrestleMania weekend in Tampa, Moxley versus
you imagine.
And Bloodsport, oh my God,
Jesus Christ!
And then the thing is, like, you can avoid all the extra stuff because it won't be on New Japan turf, won't be on AEW turf.
Yeah, they can just beat the shit out of each other for fun.
Exactly. Like, I think that would be so cool, man. That'd be such a good way to, like, it. I know it probably won't tie into a New Japan storyline or an AEW storyline in any way, but it would just be like a cool professional wrestling storyline playoff for it to just pay off. Like, these two guys beat the hell out of each other, then now they want the blood sport and like legit mat wrestling each other. So yeah, I think that would be real cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I just can't wait. There's not many matches or like storylines that genuinely make me like excitable.
Yeah, I know.
Suzuki versus Moxley is one of them, especially if it's a blood sport. Another one is what was it? Look, I have to get back to you on that one. But I thought of it earlier and I was like, oh, and I can't.
Yeah, quick brain fart. Yeah, the quick one. We gonna get back to it, folks. He gonna remember it by watching me in the end. Watching the middle of a discussion, it's gonna come to you. It's gonna hit you quick. Watch.
Yeah, I'll be doing a show on like a serial killers or something. Yeah, I remember.
So yeah, we had Hiroki Goto defending the Never Openweight Championship against Kenta. He defeated Kenta for the Never Openweight Championship, I should say. Kenta had a loss, but that was not the end of his night, sir. But we'll get to that later. Just on this match, I think this is kind of like all of Goto's matches to me are kind of the same. Like it's like, same, but yeah, the matches are just the same to me. It was a hard hitting match. I always think these Never Openweight title matches, this is always going to be a house fight. Who's out? They're gonna go at it. They're gonna hit hard. They're gonna strike hard. They're gonna kick hard. All big moves. And Goto pulled out the victory. Every year at Wrestle Kingdom, Goto is always like he's just basically like fist fights. Like, and I love it. Like, it's really good. Like you said, we talked about earlier, Goto is like, this is his thing, and I don't see him moving out of this thing. Like, he's always going to be that never open weight guy, like that Wrestle Kingdom never open weight guy. So Goto got the victory. He's the new never open weight champion again, heading out of Wrestle Kingdom. And our guy Kenta was not finished this night. Certainly was not finished.
No, he wasn't. And again, there's not many times where I'm watching wrestling and I'm like audibly pissed off and I'm like, no, like because a heel has done something. But when he did that, I was like, You bastard, you motherfucker! When he attacked him,
Yeah,
I was like,
you and Kevin Kelly both who called Kenta a bitch. So that was that was something. Excuse my language if I couldn't curse on the Ace Cast, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize for that.
yeah,
Sag y'all the blank.
that's my apologize. That's my Welshness coming through. I swear like a trooper.
Rubbing off on me, man. But Jay White defeated Kota Ibushi. I was kind of surprised at this. I thought they were going to warm Ibushi back up and give him his victory back. They did not go that route, sir. Jay White got the victory, and they built Jay White back up after his loss. I mean, well, it's kind of pick and choose with this one because both of them lost um, night one. Ty, didn't you think that this match was going to be like, oh, the winner of this one was going to be number one contender to the heavyweight and kind of the titles?
Yeah, I did. I felt like that would be the way that they would make it mean something, because like it was kind of like they both lost. I wondered how they'd make sense of trying to get people to care and how, really make it mean something. They kind of hinted at it, but without saying outright that it was like a number one contenders match. They sort of said, oh, the winner needs to get back on track in the title picture or something like that. But yeah, they love Jay White. Let's be honest. For him to beat Ibushi here, I thought was a big indicator that they've got big plans for Jay White. Simply because the easy thing for them to do was to start rebuilding Ibushi straight away, and a heel can take a loss all the time. It's Jay White could have taken a loss with no real issue. It wouldn't have damaged him too much. So I think it signals a lot that
And they kind of protected Ibushi as well with Gato interfering and the low blows and stuff. So they helped
yeah,
Ibushi out so the loss didn't affect him too bad. Like you said, I do agree with you that Jay White, they got big plans for Jay White. I mean, he's kind of really, when you think about it, he really has done it all in New Japan, man. Like he's been world champion. Like that's pretty much what everybody wants to do in that company, and he's done it. So I mean, I like you said, Big Jay White is going to be a mainstay in New Japan for as long as he wants to. One of the last real guys who can make crowds hate him. And
yeah,
he gets that same type of reception when he comes to the United States. Top level performance, Jay White. The eighth match on the card was Chris Jericho, the AEW World Champion, versus Hiroshi Tanahashi. The stipulation side going into this match is that if Tanahashi won, he would have received an AEW World Title match against Chris Jericho. Everybody thought that if Tanahashi was going to beat Jericho, that definitely meant that there was a partnership going on between, or some type of relationship going on between Japan and AEW side. Where you're disappointed when Tanahashi tapped out.
Yeah, I was surprised that Tanahashi lost. I just figured that with this stipulation, I'm sure you'll do. This match was great. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the story of it. I enjoyed both performers. But I didn't think it hit the heights that I was hoping it would. But Jericho at his age, not he's not kind of pulling off like these 5-star matches like Tanahashi and Okada and people are. He is more about his character and his story and that sort of stuff. So I forgive that completely. And I'm not saying I didn't enjoy it. I really did enjoy it. It was more of a kind of just maybe I was expecting more. Maybe that's
Yeah, I know what you're
more.
saying. The thing is with Jericho, see, I was actually worried about this match because the last singles match he had in Japan um that was like just a regular singles match against Okada at Dominion, and I thought that match was just real bad.
Yeah,
But I think this one with Tanahashi it was good for what it was. I was actually surprised that it didn't go like left because both of these guys are getting up there, even though Tanahashi can still go with the best of them. But it was good for what it was. I enjoyed it. I was kind of disappointed that Tanahashi didn't win because I wanted to see how people would have reacted to the
yeah. People would
possibility
have
of
lost their
AEW.
shit, wouldn't
Oh
they?
yeah, they did. I would have loved that. And yeah, man. maybe sometime down the line, AEW, New Japan to do something, but for right now, the quote unquote forbidden door is shut.
For now.
And sir, you're taking care of your skin. It looks great on camera. You see, folks. You see what happened when you were unproblematic and not racist. Randy Orton, Hulk Hogan. See what I'm saying? you see, you see, you see, you see what I'm saying? That's what happened when you run problematic, folks. AKA Daniel Bryan, folks. That's what happened. You look you age well when you're unproblematic. Well, I said that last.
Mate, that's one thing I have not done is age well. I can safely say that. But Daniel Bryan looks like 15 years younger without his beard, and he looks like he did when he lost to Sheamus in 20 seconds or whatever.
Definitely.
It's crazy.
Oh yes, just to talk about that real quick, just to because we at the end anyway of Wrestle Kingdom. What do you think about Sheamus and John Morrison and the Usos all making a return on SmackDown?
I like the fact that they're back, but I feel like they dropped the ball a little bit with the way they brought them back. It was kind of throwaway. Like I would have had, say, Sheamus come back, and then next week have the Usos come back, and then I wouldn't have had John Morrison come back yet. I would have had him come back and kind of do something dastardly with the Miz. Did you see? I retweeted something yesterday, which Alex McCarthy retweeted, which was back in the day when John Morrison and the Miz were a tag team. They were feuding with Crime Time, and they did like a rap video. And
that was hilarious. Actually, that was kind of funny. I'm not gonna lie.
They said, so Alex said that that they should team up again and feud with the New Day, and he said like call Wale for the battle rap, and but I just think that John Morrison could be just what the Miz needs, and I really am looking forward to the fact that the Fiend, gotta have the Fiend on the show, has changed someone else. Like the Miz is going heel now. The Fiend is the character development for everyone.
Yeah,
Fixes the people.
Yeah, the Fiend is definitely doing his job. I think Miz and Morrison is going to be great. I know a lot of people were kind of disappointed the way Morrison debuted. They wanted the big pop, but I don't think every debut needs to be a big pop. I think that was a perfect situation to debut him in. I think that was actually great and better than him just coming out and having some random match or interrupting somebody. Like I think that was a good way to introduce him because it establishes that hey, he's back with the Miz, and they're probably going to be a-hole heels, and he's going to be fun. So that's and who's to say that we won't get Miz and Morrison winning the SmackDown tag titles at WrestleMania? So
you never know. You'll still get a big pop when he comes out.
When he finally comes out, exactly.
And then when he turns on the New Day with the Miz, you'll get a good heat as well.
Exactly. So back to Wrestle Kingdom, folks. We had the double gold dash, IWGP Heavyweight title, IWGP Intercontinental title on the line. Tetsuya Naito defeats Kazuchika Okada finally after 2 Tokyo Dome losses to Kazuchika Okada. Tetsuya Naito finally beat Okada in the Dome. Great moment. I love this match. Love the final stretch, of course. Man, the way that the crowd roared, man, when Naito set Okada for that Destino, bro, that got me so amped up. Like I was amped when like as soon as he set him up and he gained wrist control of Okada, and the crowd started going crazy, and I was like, oh my god, he's about to do it. And then dude, when he finally hit the 3 count, that crowd went ballistic.
Yeah,
like, that was such a special moment. I'm glad they pulled the trigger with Naito, man. Like the crowd wanted it. And it was just a good match overall. Sam, what do you think about this match? And what do you think about but before we get to the end, of course, Kenta, what do you think about Okada giving the fist bump to Naito before he walked away? I thought that was like probably one of the coolest moments in New Japan in the past few years. Like Okada, you could tell Okada, like it was one of those things for the character. Like it didn't hurt Okada. It was like I beat you in the dome twice. I know how hard you work. Me and you both are carrying this thing. So you know what? Salute, respect. And he walked away. Like that was like one of the coolest things that I've seen.
Yeah, it was cool, and it was cool because I didn't expect it, which made it cooler as well. I didn't expect Okada to kind of, do the LIJ salute. It also, I just thought the match was real good. I was worried in the last kind of sprint. I was like, they're going to do it again. They're going to have Okada win because they want him to have the 2 belts. But I'd said in our show that I thought Naito was going to win, and I was right. So I was right again. Yeah.
Yeah, here you go. He's bragging, folks. He's bragging.
No. I was really happy for Naito because I feel like they should have put the title on him 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And they didn't. And like I say, I like the way that Naito, he sells differently. His work is different. Everything which he does is different to everyone else. I wish they wouldn't kick out of the Destino as much, but that's just wrestling in 2020, I guess. I was just gonna say Kento, what a bastard.
Yeah, so Naito was in the ring, celebrating after this big victory, and he was about to get the LIJ, the evil Bushi, Sanada, Takagi. He was about to do that whole thing, and then before he got to say the Los Ingobernables de Japón, old Kenta, who lost the never openweight title early in the night, came in and beat the hell out of Naito. And then once he finished, sir, he came in and did the Katsuyori Shibata pose on Naito's chest, holding the heavyweight and intercontinental titles. Chef's kiss. This was great. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I am so tired of the storybook ending to Wrestle Kingdom when the babyface prevails and he does the big thing and oh my God, he worked so hard to get to this moment.
Yeah.
And then he cuts a promo and then the show goes off the air and everybody's happy. I'm so glad they did something with it, just like a big F you to the fans. Like, no, you're not going to get this special moment. And Naito's not going to sign off and walk off to the grand entrance ramp and hold up the titles. It's not going to be like that. Kenta's going to destroy him and Naito's going to walk off with the help of someone. And then the interesting thing about this side, I'm going to get your thoughts on this after the books about how they ended Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah, I think it was awesome. It automatically made Kenta the biggest heel in the company. Automatically made Naito even more of a babyface than he already was after winning the titles, because that pop when he won was huge. So, like, this just added to it. Obviously, Naito goes to the same school as Roman Reigns, where he's got no friends, and none of them, he's got like a group of friends, and Bushi just came like wandering out really slowly.
That's exactly what I was about to ask you. What do you think about Bushi being the only one to come out? He's at the school of Roman Reigns. That was cool.
What would have been, I think, I would have found more interesting is if when Bushi kind of wandered out, is if Evil and Takagi had come as well, and Sanada had been the only one who didn't, or like he had been like
jealous.
Yeah, or he had been like stood on the stage and like the very, very last one to come, like real delayed sort of thing. I feel like that could have been like a good little just a
story,
hint. Yeah, hint for future stories.
Because that is a good story to tell, that Sanada has not been able to get it done versus Okada. And Naito finally got it done against Okada in the same group, and it's like, damn, like, it's an easy jealousy story to tell right there. Now, that's a good point. But yeah, I found it real interesting that Bushi was the only one to come out there and help Naito, and he was late, very late when that happened. So
one of my favorite spots in the match was when Naito he counted the Rainmaker into a Destino for a near fall, and then he kind of goes up and does the Stardust press for the near fall. And what I liked about that was that it was a callback to 2 years previous, because that's what had cost him the match against him at the Tokyo Dome 2 years ago, and I liked that he hit it and it was a near fall, and it's just those little things which adds to the story and make everything just more captivating and interesting and makes you emotionally invest in it even more.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, Sal, we have the new double champion, Tetsuya Naito. We have a new never open weight champion, John Moxley's the IWGP US heavyweight champion. Zack Sabre Jr. is still the British heavyweight champion. Showing Yo, new champions. Hiromu Takahashi, champion. So, Sal, actually, in about a couple hours, well, a few hours my time, after Monday Night Raw, there's going to be the post Wrestle Kingdom 14 press conference. So I need some predictions from Sal. What do you think is going to get announced? You think it's going to be Kenta versus Naito getting announced? Maybe Jay White versus Sonata getting announced? Who
Yeah,
do you
I
think is going to
think
happen coming out of the conference?
Kenta versus Naito probably. I
You
think
the quick question: do you think they will announce that for the tour, or do you think they should announce that for the next tour, or do you think they should wait until Sakura
they should
Genesis?
wait for Secure Genesis for that.
Okay,
Um,
yeah, I agree.
I would do Kenta versus Sanada maybe, or someone like that,
Yeah.
and then you could have Sanada lose to Kenta, and that could add to that storyline as well,
Oh
like
yeah. Yeah.
Sanada losing again.
Yeah.
Um, there's lots of little tidbits you can get in there to to add to different stories, and the Sanada one is one of the most subtle and interesting aspects to the background of the Naito win and that sort of thing. So I'll be keeping a close eye on who they pair Sanada up with and where they kind of take him. And then also I'll be interested to see what they do with the two titles. Will Naito defend both in the same match? Will
Mm-hmm.
Naito defend? Will he do double duty? I'll be interested to see, which route they take, because I'm not entirely sure what route I think's the best way. That makes sense. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
whether he should do two separate matches or, face someone for both. What would you
Yeah,
do?
it's gonna be interesting, man. I think I would just have them just for the sake of stakes in a match. I would just have them put both titles on the line in one match. So just make it easy. Like
Do you
if
not?
somebody wants to challenge.
Do you think that could maybe make it predictable that he's not going to lose it, or do you think that it's okay?
I think there is an element of predictability in that, but it also is unpredictable in a way. But I think I do agree with you saying that it is kind of predictable, but I feel like it could add more to a match for the possibility of someone becoming the second double champion. But I don't think Japan really moves like that in terms of just letting people just have whatever. Like I don't think that like that's their flow. So I mean, it might work better for Naito to do double duty, but I honestly don't see him holding that in the kind of the title for that long.
No, I think he'll
I
drop it pretty quick.
yeah,
Who would you
yeah, I
drop
do.
it to? Sanada.
Ooh, that would be an interesting story, but honestly, I would probably. Well, what about Will Ospreay? Give the title to Ospreay. If
Yeah,
that's a
because I think if you have him lose it to Osprey, you've got that in your back pocket for him to say, "Well, I beat you for the Intercontinental title.
so I should get a heavyweight
Yeah,
title
so
shot.
I should
Yeah,
get your other title too." So there's that kind of aspect to that, which you can keep. You can keep that for as long as you need to. Really, you
or
can
or
keep it to the next Wrestle Kingdom if you wanted to.
or you could have Zack Sabre Jr. go for the Intercontinental title.
Yeah, I'd quite
Maybe
like to see that.
or it's something I know Tanahashi and Ibushi kind of tease the tag team thing, so maybe that'll be a nice addition to the New Japan tag division. Even though I still think they need to bring real teams in, even
Yeah,
though
they do.
Tanahashi
Yeah.
and Ibushi, that's a stud team right there. I wouldn't mind them being tag team champions at all, but I still think they need to bring in some legit tag teams. But yeah, like I agree with you saying. I don't think Naito is going to be holding the Intercontinental title for much longer. I think his the main focus of his current reign will be the heavyweight title. So yeah, man, I really agree with that. And that was the conclusion of the 2 nights of Wrestle Kingdom 14. Man, it was a long night. I stayed up for these, and
So what
man,
time did they finish for you then?
oof, Wrestle Kingdom night 1, because they started at 3 a.m. Jesus.
Jeez, man.
They finished at like 8 in the morning. Night 2 wasn't as bad. It was like 6 or 7. It was 05. It was one. I can't even remember. Like
Sweet
it it
Lord.
it, it, it was something, man. But it was worth it. It was worth it. And it was some good wrestling, some good action. It kept
Did
me up, so that was good.
you didn't fall asleep? Did New
Oh
Japan
no, no,
World
no! I fell
crash though
asleep.
for you?
I fell asleep.
Did you?
I fell asleep on night 1 during the Okada Ibushi match, and then I woke up during that final stretch, and I was like, "Woo! Thank God I woke up because the thing that woke me up was the crowd. Cause I had my
Ah,
headphones on really loud, and I heard the crowd, and I woke up, and I was like, "Okay, this
yeah.
must be the end." And I got to catch the final 10 minutes, and it was great. So I was like, "Yeah." But yeah, New Japan World definitely crashed for me. It crashed for a lot of people. The the thing
They've
that
got to fix that because the more
I I, I
they,
don't I just think it was like one of those first time issues. I don't think it's gonna happen again. I just think they probably were caught off guard by the amount of people that were ended up tuning in to New Japan World. But I mean, at the same time, I know that they got to be ready for that.
yeah, I mean, it happened last year as well. I remember,
Oh yeah,
um,
yeah, you're
and I
right.
just think, come on, you can't have it 2 years in a row crashing and stuff. Like they've got to be aware now that people are coming to watch. Wrestle Kingdom's a big deal for viewers all over the world. So they've got to make sure that it's working tip top.
The top shape, ladies and gentlemen. So, Mr. Sai, we have NXT UK Takeover Cardiff coming up on January 12th, sir. That is this upcoming Sunday. Real quick, shall we do some predictions?
Yeah, man. If you've got the card there, let's
I
predict
have the
away.
card loaded up, sir, and we will also do some predictions for Impact Hard to Kill, which is also on Sunday. And so we will be back doing a post show podcast for those 2 shows. Am I correct?
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah.
And
You're
we're gonna be
damn
breaking those
straight.
down. So wait, are we gonna do those on Monday? The Monday after?
Yeah, yeah. We can do those Monday. The Monday after.
Sounds good, sir. So for NXT UK Takeover Blackpool 2, we have Tyler Bate versus Jordan Devlin. This match is going to slack. I'm going to love this match. Jordan Devlin, ever since I saw his match with David Starr and OTT, I do not see Jordan Devlin as anything other than a star. He is great, and I hope NXT UK starts building him up as a serious world title contender because Jordan Devlin is the man and the true Irish ace, sir. He is great. Love Jordan
He's
Devlin.
yeah. I kind of after the first. Sorry, mate. That's my bloody thing. After the first UK tournament, I wasn't a massive fan of him, but then as I got more into his work and stuff, he's a real talented dude.
Great.
He got away from that Finn Balor light kind of
I'm so
vibe.
glad people let that go, man. And I hope they don't chant that at Takeover because I remember they chanted that at the first Takeover Blackpool. So hopefully, the crowds they kind of take it easy on them.
Yeah, man.
So we have Trent Seven versus Eddie Dennis. Uh, are you particularly interested in this match at
So
all, or it's just one of those matches, that is,
I'm not massively, but I am happy that Trent Seven has got something to do because I feel
yeah,
like he's the one who gets left out a lot of the three British strong
him,
style guys.
yeah. I agree.
So I am glad that he's got something to do.
Oh
Unfortunately,
yeah,
I think that they'll probably put over Eddie Dennis.
Okay, yeah, I was about to ask you that. So I didn't get your last one. So you think it's gonna win Tyler Bate or Jordan Devlin?
Jordan Devlin.
I'm gonna go Jordan Devlin too, and for the Trent Seven match, I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna go Eddie Dennis. I'm gonna go Eddie Dennis because I know the current storyline with him right now is he was getting put back into the fold. So I think that's gonna be interesting. Uh, so next up we have Kaylee Ray versus Tony Storm versus Piper Niven. The NXT UK Women's Championship is going to be on the line.
It's
I
gonna be
know
a
Piper.
banger. This is.
Yeah, I know Piper Niven. She was battling Bell's palsy, so I hope
Yeah.
she's recovering well. I thought Tony Storm was going to end up being in NXT US, but I don't know what happened with that because she was on the Survivor Series team. So I was very surprised that she's
They don't
going
seem
back
to
to
be able to
NXT.
make up their mind.
Yeah, man. I agree. I mean, I want Tony Storm in NXT here in the state, but I also don't mind her in the NXT UK because I think she's a fixer in the division, man. So I think it would be a big loss and a major hurt if she wasn't a part of that division.
Yeah, see, to me, I'd rather her go to the main roster to Raw or SmackDown than I would to the NXT US. I feel like the women's division in the NXT US is loaded
Loaded.
with people, and there's people to come in as well. So I don't really see the needs to bring her in there, but I think she could be amazing on like a Raw or SmackDown. She deserves that because she's so good.
So, who do you think's walking away as NXT UK Women's Champion?
Oh, I think they might give it if she's recovered fully. I think they might give it to Piper Niven.
Okay. I'm gonna go Kaylee Ray.
However, I will
Retain
say with that, mate,
match.
is I'm not up to date with the NXT UK TV at the moment, so I don't know how they've built up the women, like each individual one and stuff. So I
You
could
know,
be way off with that.
You might be right. You never know, man. Swerves happen all the time. So, we got the NXT UK Tag Team titles, which I think will be the match of the night. We got a fatal four-way tag team ladder match. We have Gallus, the champions, Mark Coffey and Wolfgang, versus Imperium, Fabian Eitner and Marcel Martel, versus my guys, the Grizzled Young Vets, James Drake and Zab Gibson, versus size guys, Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster. Actually, funny enough, since we're on the topic of tag teams, did you happen to see the bracket for the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic? And what do you think about it? It's
I
NXT
haven't.
versus NXT UK Pain, man.
I haven't seen it. I
Okay,
have not watched NXT for the last 2 weeks, so I haven't seen.
so let me run it down to you real quick. We have the teams that we have slotted, and I want to get your live reactions for this. So I need your reaction out to every team.
Okay.
So representing NXT UK are the teams that's going to be in the Fatal Four Way Tag Team Ladder match at Takeover Cardiff. Takeover. I keep saying Takeover Cardiff. Goodness gracious. Takeover Blackpool too. Those are the teams that's in the Dusty Tag Team Classic representing NXT UK.
Who was this
And
say again?
you said what?
Who did you say it was?
Uh, the teams that are going to be in the Fatal Four Way match at Takeover Blackpool too. Those are the teams that are going to be representing NXT UK in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. Imperium, Gallus, uh, Flash Morgan Webster, Mark Andrews, and Grizzly Young Veterans.
Nice.
And then on
Nice.
the NXT UK, on the regular, I say regular, the NXT US side, we have Kushida and a mystery partner. We have Matt Riddle and Pete Dunne. We got Undisputed Era, Bobby Fish, and Kyle O'Reilly, and we have the Forgotten Sons. And I'm very curious about who Kushida's mystery partner is going to be. I think it's going to be Swerve, Isaiah Swerve Scott. That might be a good one. But I
Yeah,
think
I think so.
I think the thing that everybody is looking at is Matt Riddle and Mr. Pete Dunne. I think that's going to be a good one. They kind of did the same thing last year. Not last year, in 2018 with Roger Strong. And Roger Strong turned on Pete Dunne to join the Undisputed Era. So I think it'll be a good story to tell of Pete Dunne not trusting Matt Riddle because he doesn't know if Matt Riddle's going to turn his back on him. So that could be cool.
See, I think they might turn Pete Dunne because I feel like he's been babyface for a while now, and he was at his kind of hottest when he was a heel, really. And I wonder whether they may revert back to that.
Yeah, man. So that's a Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic field.
That's going to be a banger.
And it starts on Wednesday actually, and the main event for Takeover Blackpool 2 is Walter versus Joe Coffey. I am not particularly looking forward to this match, but
why do they keep putting Joe Coffey in these bloody matches?
Go
Seriously, like why? Why do they hate us? You could literally put anyone else in there from that roster, and it would be better. Anyone. Name me a person off that roster. One person.
Jordan Devlin.
Better. Jordan Devlin versus Walter would be awesome.
Man,
Trent Seven versus Walter would be awesome. Tyler Bates versus Walter would be awesome.
Ilya Dragunov, I guess.
He's my guy. That's what I want to see. Him versus Walter.
So I take it you're not a big fan of Joe Coffey.
Well, I don't mind him as part of a group. I used to like the Prestige, and I quite like the Gallus, like as a group. I just don't want to see him in the main event.
Okay, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's not personal. It's nothing against him. He sucks.
So yeah, Joe Coffey's gonna be headlining his second NXT UK Takeover in a row.
And now, the first one went well. Motherfucker.
So I'm looking forward to this review.
It's going to be good fun.
So moving on to Impact Wrestling, we have the Hard to Kill pay-per-view. We have a course of singles matches. We have Ken Shamrock versus Madman Fulton. We can run through these, and then we could dive into the main event a lot more. So, just real quickly, Ken Shamrock or Madman Fulton?
Ken Shamrock.
Moose or Rhino?
Moose.
Brian Cage versus Rob Van Dam?
Ooh, Rob Van Dam, because they're pushing him as like the heel.
Wait, just real quick. Have you seen these promos and these vignettes that RVD is doing, like with him and Katie Forbes? Like,
I haven't. No, I haven't seen them. I'm behind on Impact as well.
Dude, when you get a chance, please go check something. Like,
I will, because I really like Rob Van Dam's heel character.
The stuff they're doing with RVD is hilarious. Like the whole thing that had this Brian Cage thing I started was Brian Cage was doing a sit down interview, right? And he was talking about getting his rematch for the well, not getting a rematch, but getting back to the world title picture because he lost to Tessa Blanchard, and that's how Tessa got the opportunity. Mm-hmm. And RVD came in the room doing the interview and started making out with his girl on the couch. And Brian Cage was like, "Hey, we're doing an interview." RVD was like, "Damn, my bad." And then Brian Cage said something else. Like he wasn't even being like loud or angry. RVD, he was just like, "Oh, you don't got to get hot about it, bro. Damn, I'll go find somewhere else." And he was like, "Well, anybody who's watching this right now, Brian Cage sucks and stuff like that." Like RVD is he's hilarious right now, man. Like he's real entertaining. Like
so funny.
I think you would like really enjoy the stuff that he's doing right now. But what do you think next? We got Eddie Edwards versus Michael Elgin.
Michael Elgin.
We have the Impact World Tag Team Championships. We have the North, Ethan Page and Josh Alexander defending against my guys, Rich Swann and Willie Mack.
Yeah, Willie Mack and Rich Swann will win that, I think.
We have the three-way for the Impact Knockouts Championship. We have the longest reigning Impact Knockout Champion and the current Reina de Reinas champion, Taya Valkyrie, defending against Jordan Grace and ODB. I'm going to go Jordan Grace on this one. I think ODB is there to take the pinfall.
Yeah, I think Jordan Grace is going to win that.
We have Ace Austin versus Trey Miguel. And this whole feud is built up off Ace Austin flirting with Trey's mom.
Ace Austin, got to go with the Ace.
Seriously, like I think they really brought Trey's mom on the TV for this program. So yeah, that's interesting. And then
Good stuff.
we have the main event: Sami Callihan versus Tessa Blanchard. Side, is it time to crown the first women's world champion in Impact Wrestling?
Yeah, I think so.
Do you
They
think?
need to
Do you
keep
think Impact?
they need to keep Tessa Blanchard at all costs. So
Yeah, I was
they
just about
got to
to ask
just
you that.
give her whatever she wants, basically.
Do you think that they are at all worried that if they put the title on her, or if they don't put the title on her, that she'll, end
If
up leaving one day,
she's gonna get massive contract offer from everywhere.
regardless?
So
Right? Yeah.
what's the worst that happens? That you put the title on her and she leaves. Oh well, you get like the big the the the
Prestige of
publicity.
saying you got
Yeah,
the
you get the publicity
yeah.
from her leaving. Even that is going to get people's eyes on your product. So, yeah, I'd put the title on her, and I think
Yeah,
that
so
match will be awesome as well. By the way,
yeah, for sure, man. So right now, scheduled for the Royal Rumble pay-per-view side, we can get into this just a little bit. We have Bray Wyatt rematching Daniel Bryan for the Universal Championship. I know a lot of people think this is Daniel Bryan's big comeback story, and a lot of people think we're going to head to Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns at
nope.
WrestleMania, but I think the Fiend is going to be retained in this.
Fiend's going to retain, and then Roman Reigns is going to win the Royal Rumble by
Oh boy,
eliminating Daniel Bryan,
mm.
who's been in since number 1, and the fans are going to boo. And then Roman Reigns is going to beat the Fiend at WrestleMania clean in 2
and then
minutes
and
with
then you're going to rip
16
WWE
Superman
apart.
punches. Yep. And then I'm going to record a 2-hour rant.
and also scheduled for that match, I'm scheduled for that pay-per-view. We have Becky Lynch defending the Raw Women's title against Asuka. We have a rematch from last year's Royal Rumble.
That
Asuka
should be
defeated
good.
Becky. All Becky has been talking about was getting her W back from Asuka. So I actually think it would be interesting if Asuka were to beat Becky. Honestly, I think that would be like a really nice story.
I think a really captivating story would be if Asuka wins and then you do it again at Mania.
Or if Becky
Third
goes out
time.
like, oh yeah, you go ahead.
Or you could do it where Asuka got her in the Oscar lock. You have Becky busted open. Asuka's got her in the Oscar lock, and Becky passes out through the pain rather than taps out at the Rumble, and then you do the third match at Mania, and then you can go either way. Really, I think at Mania, then you could have Asuka beat Becky. I think that would be a good story to tell.
Yeah, man. So, Sai, who do you got for the men's and women's Royal Rumble matches? Who you think will win those?
So if I was booking it, who do I think they will put, or who do I think they should?
Either one. Who you think is gonna win the match? Who you think WWE is
I
gonna have win the match?
think they will have Roman Reigns win it. I think they should have either Drew McIntyre or Matt Riddle win it.
Okay. So who do you got for the women's Rumble match?
Women's, I think Charlotte will win it, but I think they should have Sasha win it.
Okay. So for the women's, I'm gonna go with Shayna Baszler, and that
That's
sets
a
up Becky.
good shout.
I'm gonna set up Becky versus Shayna at WrestleMania, and for the men's, sir, you know what? I'm gonna go off the deep end with this one. I'm gonna say the winner of the 2020 men's Royal Rumble match is going to be Samoa Joe, and that's going to be my pick.
Yes.
That's going to be my pick, and then we get Samoa Joe versus Brock at WrestleMania, and Joe finally,
Wins the big one.
Sab, like you said, wins the big one, and then we all rejoice.
Do you know what? If Bray Wyatt could win a title match at WrestleMania and Samoa Joe could beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, I would forgive WWE's booking for a whole year just
So
for those
Sab,
two things to happen.
Before we wrap it up, Brock Lesnar's actually, I think Paul Heyman's gonna make that decision tonight on Raw as we're recording this. Quick pick. Who do you think is gonna face Brock at the Rumble? I'll be still in the Ricochet train.
Yeah, I wonder whether that would be that for the Rumble. Yeah, Ricochet. I think it could be a good shout because I think Heyman likes him, and I think he could do some amazing stuff with Brock.
Real quick, what would you think about them putting Aleister Black against Brock at the Rumble? Would you like that, or you wouldn't like that?
No, I don't want to do that. The only way I would want to see Aleister Black versus Brock would be a big, like a Mania, and for him to win. If they're not going to have Aleister Black beat Brock, then don't put him in the match.
For sure.
Don't book yourself in the corner.
Yeah, man. So that's gonna wrap it up for today's edition of AceCast, and Shy and I will be back next Monday for the review of NXT UK Takeover Blackpool 2 and a review of Impact Wrestling's Hard to Kill pay-per-view, where we will be diving in depth, possibly to Tessa Blanchard is the new Impact World Champion, which will be a historic moment, Shy.
Historic, mate. And plus, it'll be Joe Coffey's coronation as the greatest wrestler in the world.
Oh my goodness, I cannot wait to see that. You want to know what? I hope Joe Coffey goes out there and has a banger, like just for you specifically.
Yeah.
I hope he has
and then he dedicates it to me. No, he's perfectly capable of it. I just haven't seen it from him yet. Maybe next week's the week.
Oh my goodness.
He's coming next week. Come on.
I has no support for his fellow people of the United Kingdom whatsoever.
Just gotta be good. Be good or get off.
No support for the what Joe call we from Scotland?
Yeah, fellow Celts.
Okay. So oh my goodness. You are hilarious, man. So,
right. Where can the people find you on the social?
Find me at AD Thompson, man. Andrew Thompson Interviews YouTube channel. Got a interview dropping on Tuesday. Oh, there it is right there. My guy side with the nice
pretty face.
I got a interview dropping Tuesday. I am still in recovery from Wrestle Kingdom weekend, and I feel like I'm about to fade out. Like I could drop out at any moment. So I am patiently waiting until Raw is over because I am going to get the best sleep of my life. So hopefully Raw is not too crazy.
Yeah, I'm going to sleep now. You can find me on Twitter, guys, at ACEcast_nation, Facebook.com/ACEcastNation, YouTube.com/AcePodcastNation. Please give us a subscribe. I'm going to try and get up to 1,000 subscribers this year so we can monetize this shit. Andrew,
subscribe so my guy can make some bread.
Yeah, feed my kids. They haven't eaten. They haven't eaten for a year, like since we started. Poor kids.
He says I can feed my kids.
Just gotta feed my boys. Andrew, it's been a pleasure, mate. As always, I enjoy it. Thank you for hosting it as well. Takes the pressure off my tired head because I've been up for about 35 hours straight now.
Jesus Christ, man.
I am ready to drop.
Yeah, bro, you about to be sleeping till tomorrow night, so I'm gonna be wishing you the best endeavors and all sweet dreams, my brother.
And I'll see you next week.
Yep, for sure. And then the week after that,
and then the week after that, probably as well.
Royal Rumble, and then the week after that, we got Takeover Portland, and then you got AEW Revolution, and then the week after that, Elimination Chamber.
Jesus.
And 3 weeks after that, WrestleMania.
We're gonna be busy.
We're gonna be busy. So, ladies and gentlemen, we will see you next Monday for a review of Takeover Blackpool 2 and Impact Wrestling. Let's go, Joe Coffey. Let's prove Cy wrong. You about to go, sir. Let's dethrone Walter.
Let's go, Joe. Let's go, Joe. Let's go, Joe. Subscribe, youtube.com/AcePodcastNation.